This is a tutorial on how to get your citations from an article that you have found either on a database or on a website into Noodletools. Most of our databases will create the citation for you. So you have to look for a cite button, C-I-T-E. And so in Gale, it is right up here underneath the photo banner, and I'm going to click on that. I am given an MLA 9 citation. If I'm doing a project for a different class where I have to use a different type of citation style, I can change it up here. I can see that it has put my source into a citation. And then underneath my citation, I can see that I can export to any one of these platforms here. And I would like to export to Noodletools. So if I click on that, it's going to come up in a new tab, and it will give it to me one more time so I can take a look at it just in case something is out of the ordinary. And then because I've already gone into Noodletools and opened that project, it automatically selects that project. If I need to change it, I can use this drop down to change it. Then I click on import. I'll get a little green, hey, you've done this properly. And if I go back to my Noodletools page and I refresh the page, I should have my first citation in there. A couple of the databases are copy and pasting citations in, so that's slightly different, but most of the databases do have a citation button that will export directly to a platform like Noodletools. If you are on the web, and let's say you've done a Google search, I'm on the New York Times right now, and this is something we subscribe to, but we use it as a web page, so it is not going to create the citation for you. So you have to tell Noodletools what kind of a source you have. So let's say I wanted to use this particular source. I would go back to Noodletools since I can't export a citation, and I would click on New Source. Noodletools always asks me 2 questions because it needs to determine what kind of a source I have. So in this case, I am on the New York Times website. And then I'm going to use it as a web page. And now I have to go in and I have to find all of this information and I have to put it in here. And I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to capitalizing correctly, that I'm spelling correctly, and Noodletools will alert me if I have not done something properly. And once I have all of this information in, then I'm going to hit the save button and it's going to create a citation. Now, sometimes what will happen is when I am in Noodletools, I am looking for the first piece of information that I need to put in here, which is the URL. And I come up here and I grab the URL and I copy it. Sometimes what will happen with the New York Times is it will give you this option of a smart import. That means that if I click on this and it does it properly, where it gives me confetti, it will actually put all of the pieces of information that I need in here. One of the things I do have to put in right here, most recent date of access, it doesn't do that. But if I click on today, it'll add that as well. And then I'm going to come through here and I am going to change this because this is incorrect. Okay, so the author is not the Learning Network, right? That's the page that I came from. So I want to go back and see if there is an author. I don't have an author, so I'm going to leave that blank. When I click on save, it will create that for me. So those are the 2 most often used ways in which we import sources, right? One is going to be where it's generated for you. The second one is where Noodletools will guide you in a source. But you can always ask us questions in the library if you're not quite sure how you are going to put this together, if you have some questions about a source. Now remember, if these were the only 2 sources that I was going to use for my project, I would be done at this point. But I do want it to look like an actual page. So at the end, when I have all my sources in, I always want to make sure that I'm exporting and printing. And I'm going to export and print to my Google account. And then in your drives, it will create a document for you, a works cited page. And this is really important because things are very organized on this page too. You can see that it is in alphabetical order. It's titled works cited. There's certain lines that are indented. And so it's very important that not only is your citation correct and in the correct format and order, it's also really important that you have this correct on the page. And then at this point, I could submit it to my teacher, however your teacher is asking to get it.